Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is day 3 of our meditation challenge here. Things are cranking along. Been getting a lot of great responses from everybody. Um, I'd like to continue our little emerging tradition here and start off this session with 3 minutes of meditation. So, yeah, why don't we just do that right now? We'll jump right in. Get my little nifty timer here. Um, I really, I like that we're doing these videos. I enjoy sending the emails and getting to put my thoughts down kind of concisely, but I really like that we do a little video thing here too, because I'm not gonna lie, I get a little nervous, like I hit, record on the thing, and people watch this, and there's a little bit of that like anxiety, and getting to start with even just 3 minutes of meditation, I find that good, comfortable place. I get settled in my body. Some of those tight muscles just start to relax a little bit. So I'm glad we're starting out these daily videos with little 3 minutes of meditation. Um, it's day 3, and we're doing habit formation this week. And if you're catching up, we got a lot of people who've been joining a little bit late. So week 1 is one-on-ones of meditation, and we started with tiny habits. We introduced people to meditation. We got started focusing a little bit on finding community, getting partners. We started having people sign up and look for ways to get connected to some of our groups. We held our first meditation beginners instruction for the challenge on Monday night. Leanne led a group. We had 20 people show up for our beginners instruction. It actually ended up being a really cool conversation. We had such a breadth of people. So we're holding beginning sessions all week. You can join the discussion group. There's a lot of ways to partner with people. So for day 3, because we're focusing on really building this practice, right? So the meditation itself is very simple, right? We're going to sit still. We're going to focus on our breath. We're going to recognize thoughts when we're thinking. We're going to say, I'm thinking. We're not going to judge ourselves. We're not going to be critical. We're just going to say, I'm going to let go of that thought. I'm going to release that thought. The way I'm going to release that thought is I'm going to return fully and completely to the experience of my breath. The most important part of this is we're going to do this over and over and over again, right? Our minds are not going to stop thinking. Our meditation, whether we're doing it for 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, or 3 days, is going to be about recognizing thoughts, releasing them by returning fully and completely to the experience of our breath, and repeating this over and over. We end up changing our relationship to thoughts. Instead of thinking like, oh, my meditation is supposed to be about not having thoughts. No, that's not what it's about. Our meditation is about using those thoughts almost like we use weights at the gym. They're the resistance, right? Thoughts are going to come. So what are we going to do with them? You're going to be like, there it is. It's doing its like brain thought thing. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to criticize it. I'm just going to put it aside and place my attention where I want it to be. And this is how we start to develop that calm, peaceful, deep, balanced center, right? Because we keep returning to it, no matter what the distraction is. I got a comment on one of the videos from this week that somebody thought the noise in the background of the meditation was very challenging. And I loved that, because I wrote a blog post a few years ago that I like to share often about meditating in a noisy room, right? There is no noise in any environment that's going to be nearly as distracting as the thoughts in between your ears, right? So if you can deal with like worrying about your grocery list or the performance review with your boss or the fight you just had with your partner, if you can recognize that and release that and return to the experience of your breath, you can certainly recognize and release the distractions of a noisy room or whatever an external distraction is. So let's get on to talking about today. Today is Tuesday. It's January 3rd. Most of us are going back to work. If you have the privilege of not having to work today, God bless you. I'm jealous. I freelanced and did some consulting for all of 2016. I didn't work for anybody formally. I wasn't on a payroll anywhere. It was an amazing experience. It was a challenging experience, but I loved not having to report somewhere on a Monday morning, or in this case, returning from a holiday on a Tuesday morning. But I came in contact with a very serious struggle. My daily meditation practice, which was most consistent from Monday to Friday because I worked a 9-to-5 job on Mondays to Fridays, really fell apart. You would think that when I was running my own business, I had all this time to myself, that consulting and truly being able to determine my own schedule would have afforded me the opportunity to meditate more than I normally do. And in fact, what my experience was of 2016 was, by having all of the time in the world and this lack of structure, I actually ended up meditating less in 2016 than I have in any previous year of the last decade. So I want to offer an idea. I would like you to consider the opportunity of returning to work today to be a great opportunity for your meditation practice. And I'll tell you why. we're focusing on habit formation these first couple of days, right? So we got tiny habits. We've got getting partners and building a community to help us sustain our motivation. Today, we're talking about linking habits to existing habits, right? There's a handful of tips and tricks in habit formation that have really been proven through pretty extensive behavioral research that are very beneficial. And the third lesson for this challenge is about linking a new habit to an existing habit as being a great way of installing a habit. Habits are so powerful, right? One of the things we don't realize about why most January 1st aren't successful for us is because we think we just lack the motivation or the willpower to carry out this new goal of ours. But in fact, something different is happening. Right? As our motivation wanes from, we started meditating because we're stressed out or we're, got a spiritual objective or whatever has brought us to the practice, the motivation is great when we start, but it disappears pretty quickly, right? But why sticking to the practice is challenging is not just the waning motivation. It's because there are existing habits in place that prevent us from installing the new one. Right? So if you've ever tried to lose some weight, a few years ago, I lost about 60 pounds over the course of the year. So I've got a pretty intimate experience of this, that mostly what is preventing us from losing weight is not that we're trying to eat a salad. It's just that normally on Tuesdays we go out with the guys and we go to Subway and I get the tuna salad, and I love the tuna salad, but the tuna salad sandwich on the 12-inch has 1,800 calories and I'm supposed to only eat 1,600 calories for the whole day, right? So my existing habit, which is very powerful and has a great deal of attraction for me, is what brings me back to that tuna salad sandwich, right? Excuse me. So what I would like to think about is changing our relationship to existing habits and recognizing those instead of as roadblocks to our practice, but instead as opportunities to build on something. So for me, personally, part of how I built a daily meditation practice is that I wake up and the first thing I like to do, whether I slept for 6 hours or 10 hours, is take a shower. There's something about that splash of water on my face that just, it's how I like to get out of bed, right? And immediately after I get out of the shower, I brush my teeth. So when I was trying to create the habit of a daily meditation practice, I linked it to those two things. So now I get out of the shower, I brush my teeth, and I immediately sit on the cushion. Well, actually, that's not quite true. I put some clothes on first, and then I sit on the cushion, but that's probably more information than you needed for a Tuesday morning. This idea is really potentially powerful. There's been some great research that, especially in the mornings, and particularly for people who work very conventional 9-to-5 jobs or other 40-hour-a-week jobs that have shifts, right? Those days that we're at work end up being very structured. There's some interesting research that says about 40 to 44% of our whole day is habit, right? We watch particular shows on particular days of the week. We eat a particular snack at the end of the night, right? We eat pizza on Fridays. We go to church on Sunday mornings. You go through the list of things, right? There's kind of this ritual, right? So weekdays, as opposed to weekends, if you work an office job, really have a very dependable schedule. And there's a higher concentration of ritualized, habitual actions on weekday mornings, if you have a typical Monday to Friday 9-to-5, than any other time. So for me, my alarm goes off at a certain time, it sounds a certain way, I shower, brush my teeth, meditate, I eat the same breakfast every day, I dress in the same clothes out of the same closet, right? I drive the same route to work. My mornings are very predictable. So I love meditating at night. I very rarely do it over the last 5 or 6 years, right? When I meditate at night and then I lay down in bed, I immediately fall asleep. I sleep just very comfortably and blissfully. But I don't have the same consistency in my habits in the evening that I do during the morning. So I find that even though I would love to meditate twice a day, I end up very consistently meditating in the morning and not very often at night. I've talked for way too long on this. It's a very simple concept, but I would like you, if you're brand new to the meditation practice, to think about an existing habit. Maybe you make coffee every morning. Maybe you have a dog you walk. Maybe you get dressed, and you're dressing and you put on a tie before you go to work every day. Whatever that habit is, I'd look for a habit, and I would decide to link your meditation practice to that habit. I'll give one other little tip. Ooh, excuse me, it's my cell phone there, reminding me to meditate. I'll give one last tip about why I think finding an existing habit is so beneficial. We need a lot of prompts. We need a lot of reminders when we're trying to build a new habit, especially if you're new or if you're struggling with getting back to the meditation cushion consistently. If your practice is like mine, I get out of the shower, I go and brush my teeth. If for some reason I haven't been then third step going and sitting on a meditation cushion, I can very simply put a Post-it note on my toothbrush. Kind of hard to miss a Post-it note, right? Challenging to brush your teeth if it's there. There's a little prompt, a little reminder. Existing habits allow us to anchor alarms and reminders and Post-it notes and little encouragements that we need, right? Most people will read this email on a weekday at around 9:20, 9:30, their standard time, sitting at work. They'll be drinking their coffee, they said hello to their coworkers, they're sitting down. Now, granted, this isn't everybody, but I can tell you from being a marketer and reading email research, our read rates spike about 20, 30 minutes after somebody gets to work, right? So we look for these patterns and we can link our new practice to it. So I'm going to conclude this because I've talked too much already, but if you're a little depressed about showing up for work because you just had an amazing vacation and now you're going back to the grind, I'd like to recommend that this is actually a great opportunity for your New Year's resolution if your New Year's resolution is meditating more often, because you can now link your meditation practice to something that's really consistent within the course of your day. For a long time, I was meditating at lunch. I would go to the office, I would do my normal day, and then if I wasn't seeing a donor for lunch, I would run off and I had a spot and I would grab my sandwich, I would go out, sit at a picnic table, and I would meditate for 10 minutes and then sit and eat my lunch. And that was a great way because, it's this weird thing. I eat lunch every day. I don't know if that's normal, but like I try to do it, right? But I linked my meditation practice to that lunch. I bet if you have a professional life, if you're not retired or if you don't work from home or freelance, if you're part of the other, 60% of the population that's doing some kind of typical shift work in a 40-hour week, there's some great opportunities to tack in 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there, wherever throughout the course of the day. So drop a comment below. Let us know what the existing habit is that you're going to link your meditation practice to, or jump into the discussion group. I would love if people talked about this in the discussion group and shared some of the places that they found consistent things that they do every day that they're going to link their meditation project practice to. Let's talk about it. Let's see what works. Last thing before I get out of here, we had a great session. Leanne led our beginner's instruction on Monday night. We're going to change the schedule a little bit. I initially said we were going to have a beginner's instruction at 8:30 tonight on Tuesday, but I'm actually going to shift that to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, because we had 20 some odd people in Leanne's group, and I suspect even if we have half that many, half an hour is not enough time, because typically what we do on Tuesday nights, regardless if we're in a challenge or not, is Danielle and I lead a book club. It's a great meeting. We get together, we read 3, 4, 5 paragraphs from a book together. You don't have to do any studying in advance. We meditate for a few minutes, and then we talk about that book. So what I'd like to do tonight is do the beginner session at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll let that run for an hour, and then we'll get together and we'll do the book club at 9 o'clock, which is just our normal book club, especially for those of you who normally show up for that. So you can come to one, you can come to the other, you can come to both. You're always welcome. The events page, which I'll put in the links below here, newleafmeditation.org/events. Very creative title. You'll find the information for how to connect to those sessions later tonight. We've got a great beginner session with my friend Kevin on Wednesday evening. And then because we have so many experienced meditators who are in this challenge, we're going to have on Thursday night, instead of the beginners group, we're going to have a conversation dedicated to the challenges and pitfalls that relate to being an experienced meditator. So if you've fallen off the wagon and you're struggling to sit consistently, are you not getting out of your practice what you'd hope to? Have you hit a plateau? Have you just fallen out of love with meditation? I mean, there's, you know, physical pain. I mean, there's nothing that isn't appropriate for this conversation. If you've been meditating for more than, let's say, a week, you're welcome to that Thursday evening conversation with me and Chris. Just talk about like what you're struggling with as an experienced meditator. There's no agenda, there's no programs, just an open discussion. We're going to workshop it. We're going to talk about the challenges. So, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for participating in this challenge. If you're at work watching this, I hope you look for some opportunities to tack your meditation practice into your day. I look forward to talking to you guys in the discussion group. Thank you.